All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Ducati build. We are on episode, step 17, which by the looks of it, we get to play with a little bit of vinyl tubing again and some small parts. We have D45, D40, and D41. And then we have to route the different vinyl tubing for all the parts. We've got a lot of fun painting going on. Basically, the whole part will be LP11, and this part will be LP11. But then we got to pick out a little bit of chrome silver, a little semi-gloss black. I don't know what LP71 is or LP60. LP71 is champagne gold and LP60 is NATO black. So yeah, we got a lot of fun colors coming up on this one. Plus we have a decal to apply also, and we get to mix a little gunmetal with a little clear orange to add to this little part that gets all painted semi-gloss black. So I guess what we can do is we can cut out some parts off of the D sprue. There's the D sprue. So we need D40. Let's see, let's get this back, cut that. And we'll cut it there. And we need D45, which is its next door neighbor, and D41. There we go. And that is all three parts that we're going to need for this step. So go in and make sure everything's kind of cleaned up. All right, so that one is ready. So I am going to pause the video and go shoot these, so that way we have something to work with. Try to figure out where we can grab this one without tweaking too much. That one. This one gets, like I said, it gets a combination. It gets semi-gloss black, and then the canister, it says to do gunmetal with clear orange. So I'm going to brush paint that after mixing that. So I'll just shoot that piece, LP5, all by itself. I will shoot this piece here, which is D45. I'm going to shoot that LP11. May have to use a toothpick for that one. LP11 for that one, and then this one as well gets painted multitudes of colors, but we're going to paint the overall body LP11 first, and then come back and pick all these out by brush. So we've got some parts to work with. I shall return. All right, we are back with the painted parts. We have this little part that's going to receive a ton of other painting stuff. Let's see. It is LP11, which is a really nice silver. And we have this piece as well, which is LP11, which is silver. That actually doesn't need any more painting. So we'll do a gray panel wash on it. This piece right here, that is done in LP5, and we just have to touch that little canister with the mixture of paint. So that's what we're going to do right now. The directions say to mix. Let's see, it says to mix LP19 with X26. X26 is a clear orange, so I went ahead and I grabbed LP53, because that's clear orange as well, and LP19, which is gunmetal. So I'm going to put, I'm going to mix that 1-to-1. One of the gunmetal.
And one of the clear orange.
Fucking time. An interesting color, that's for sure. So we will paint this little part. It's kind of like a little, almost like a greeny color. All right, well, that little splash of color is done. See how it dries, because it's definitely an interesting color. It shows up lighter on film than it does in real life. So maybe it's just the way it's catching the eye. So, all right, so I'm going to clean off my brush and we'll be back to paint some more parts. All right, so we got that part done. So now we're going to grab some LP60 NATO Black, which I usually use Vallejo Air NATO Black, but I am going to try a little of this tonight just to shake it up a little bit. Not the paint, but just the idea. All right, it says to paint, so we are going to do that. I think it just means the actual spring, because that's what that is. It's a little spring. So I'm going to be very careful. Just try to paint the spring. All right, we got the spring part painted. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to do the XF5. Actually, we're going to do the LP71 first. All right. Let's do the champagne gold part, LP71, which is champagne gold. So we will grab this little part, and the directions say it's the big body part up here. It goes from here all the way up to there. We'll come back, we'll put a little chrome silver on these bolt heads. All right, that is that. So now we'll grab our other color that we have to do. So now we're going to do the LP5, which they ask for X18, which is semi-gloss black in the acrylic range, but we are going to use the LP range, the lacquer. So, and then we're going to do a wash on it and get our vinyl tubing ready. I'm only going to paint a little bit of this because the vinyl tubing has to plug on top of here. All right, so that takes good. We still have to put a decal on this little piece right here, which I don't know what that is, but it looks like a petal of some sort, and the decal will, I guess, provide some sort of texture. But that's what we've got going on so far. So I'm going to clean out my brush, and we'll figure out what else we have to do. One more paint that we're going to do before we get ready to, instead of using the Maltive pen like I usually do for my chrome, I'm going to use a little bit of a Tamiya LP48 sparkling silver, because it's got a pretty good glow to it, but it dries a whole lot faster than Maltive, so I'll be able to work on the part faster. So we are going to take this part right here. I'm gonna grab these little bolt heads while we're in here. And then when we put a wash on that, it's gonna make those come out pretty well. All right, so that is ready. Set that off to dry. This part is ready. I'm gonna set that off to dry. And of course this part is just gonna get a wash, which I think I'm gonna do after I glue it together with the other part. So while those are drying, I'm gonna grab some of our vinyl tubing. So we have some vinyl tubing, and like in a previous video, I showed you that Tamiya gives us these handy dandy little measuring points for our wire. So wire C, which goes down here, is that long. Wire D, which goes right here, is that long. So we just come in here and we hold it at the end. And then we hold it right there and we cut. And we do it again with this one. And we cut. So we got C and D. Pretty easy to remember because one's longer than the other. So it's showing us attaching this part here to the bike itself, right where these two holes are. So we need to test fit that and see how it's going to look. So I think that goes right. And the peg on the back of this part goes right in that hole and attaches right there. So what we're going to do is drop a little bit of glue in there. And that just seeps in where it needs to go. And then we're going to let that dry. And then I think we're going to come in and just do a little touch up because of some of the paint scraped away. But here is the little notch where that tube is going to be attached to. Right in there. But we're not going to mess with it yet. All right, so we'll get that drying. And I guess we could do that decal before we get too far. And then we forget about it like I did on another one. So it calls for decal number 42, which is, you get two of them, so we must need them for a foot peg on the opposite side as well. So what we're gonna do, 42 is right here, these little, and they do have like a little texture pattern on them. It almost looks carbon fiber, but I know, well, I believe it's meant to be more of like a texture. So we're gonna cut one of those out. And we're going to get that decal. Added to this part here. So you'll grab a little water bottle cap. Put a little bit of water in there. And we'll grab you. And we'll submerge that for a little bit. And it shows it going right on, where are we? Right on this foot peg right here. So it's going to wrap around there. So we're going to do that real quick once this decal works and gets all ready. Then we're going to glue everything together, mount it to the bike, and attach our little vinyl tubing. Well, I guess that came right off. little solvaset to kind of help that decal. At the end of the day, I don't know if this is actually going to be worth all this hassle or not. Might just go in and paint it flat black and call it a day. Ooh. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? Okay, the Solvaset has made that decal totally flex. Well, bend rather, all the way around that part. And to tell you the truth, if I had to do it again, which obviously there's two decals, so I probably would have painted that black just in case you had some sliver that showed through. But it looks the part. So we will let that set up a little bit, and then we'll glue it on to where it's supposed to be glued. So while that's gluing, I am going to take the C wire, which is the bigger of the two, and I'm going to put it, it goes on the nipple of that fluid container there. So I'm just gonna, I want to do my old trick of a toothpick. If I could find my toothpicks. Well, okay, so I'm going to take these little bad boys. I'm going to widen that hole a little bit, just so it stretches out. Just so it stretches out. And then that way, I can take it off, stretch it out a little bit, and wiggle it on that hole, on that nipple there. Just going back and forth a little bit until it gets seated on there. And then just work it a little bit more. Careful not to upset that, which I just did. So I might hold that. There we go. There we go. Now that's completely on. And then the next little wire of vinyl tubing goes on the top one here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hollow that out a little bit. Well, not hollow, but you know what I mean. Kind of widen it, stretch it. So then that way I can come in here, hold that and squish it right on there. And there it goes. Then just take my tweezers and fatten it back up. Now, if you remember back in an earlier step, we have a wire that ran from here through here and then under here and came through this little opening under under the fender. And then we grabbed it. This one. Now that it is all the way, which is a weird, it's weird how that wire, I think it's meant to, yeah, I think I got that wrong. So we are going to pull that wire all the way out. I think it goes through this little, because if it doesn't, right now it just looks like it rubs up against the tire, which I know that's not part of the design. Okay, that comes under the pipes. Still, it just doesn't seem right that it's gonna rub against that tire like that. But anyway, it goes to the other. There, now we have all of those going to where they're supposed to go. But now we got to get them from where they're supposed to go. So yes, I'm going to do a lot of touch-up on that part. Okay, so that part's in. Now we're going to grab this. We're going to mess with this again. So basically, I think what I learned was it goes something like this. It attaches right there. A little bit of glue. Just so it starts that process. And then we're going to grab a little bit of glue right on this bracket right here, because that's where that part goes. Oh. And be careful of your fat thumbs if you have fat thumbs. So that's glued. That's glued. And at the very least, we're going to have to do a little bit of touch-up of paint here and there, which is okay. I don't mind touching up some paint. So this piece here goes now, it attaches to right above the that exhaust pod back down there. So it looks like it's going to go right here and right here. So there must be a pretty big old, yep. Which is kind of cool because that's going to now hide that, it's going to hide that screw head. So we're going to get a little glue in you. A little glue in you. And we are going to grab you. And we are going to drop you right in. Well, now I've got to figure out That's what was wrong with that part, was that screw wasn't fully down in the hole like it's supposed to. So the peg couldn't go deep enough. So now I'm hoping I remedied that. There we go. If something doesn't fit, there's usually an issue, because Tamiya kits are very precise. So other than a lot of touching up, I can now connect the top one here with the back one here. Oh, so fiddly. We're going to all right, we are going to let that dry before I try to put those, but they both connect to these two little prongs right here. So we are going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and get this video out there, but just know that we still have to attach those. I'll show them in the next step. Okay, well, we got it painted. Got the black painted. LP5. And we have my wife being really loud inside the house. We also have the titanium silver painted. So that little part goes right here. Gosh, my light is just not that good. Goes right in this little section right here. So it goes something like that. So we are going to grab some glue. Dab it all in there. Grab this little boy. Sure. You ever notice when you've got glue on something, or if you're test fitting it, it just slaps down perfectly, but when you've got glue on it, it wants to give you fits and not go where it's supposed to go? And now I'm going to have to do a little touch up on there because it made a little mark. All right, so that part is done. And like I said, it just snaps on and covers up the exhaust, which I'm not excited about because it shows it basically going on here. And covering up all that pretty coloring that we have on there. So it slides in down in there. And snaps there. And there's another hole here that it also snaps down. But it covers up everything that we worked on. I mean, you can't see any of those pipes unless you're looking right there is about all you can see. So that'll definitely be a part that you have to think about if you're going to display it built, whether you leave this part off, whether you put it on, that'll be up to you. I'm probably going to leave it off and leave it on the side. So if I display it for like a competition, I'll have it done and I'll have it sitting the fairing off over here and the fairing off over here and then this piece probably along with it just to show that it's there. But it's hard to work so hard on all those colors and then not show it. So I know I said at the end of the video, I know I said at the last of the video when I did it before, because I thought this was all done and this was it. But now 17 is done. So we can move on to 18 next time, which is three more pieces. Pretty easy painting, nothing major. We'll go ahead and get that going next time. And again, I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. I hope you enjoy them. I hope they're not too tedious. Do the best I can. And I appreciate my subscribers and all of my likes. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down there and I will get to them. Have a great night, guys. Thanks.